Hey, welcome back. So in this unit, I will talk to you about our key differentiators. So what are the key differentiators that sets SAP Intelligent RPA apart and make us unique in the market as a best choice for an RPA consumer? Let's focus on key aspects. So when we look at the key differentiators, we need to look at functionality, how functionally rich our solution is, SAP compatibility, because most of the automation, most of the business processes walk through SAP systems at some stage. So how robust our solution is while building automation scenarios using SAP. Comprehensiveness, like how it lets you build and orchestrate bots. Pre-built bots, that how can you have pre-designed automation for quick consumption, and overall roadmap, like because the story doesn't stop here, and how we further plan to invest, and how secure is our solution, and how is the overall user experience, and what are the different flexible pricing options that you have in order to consume these latest and greatest innovations. So let's look at each of these blocks in detail. So let's start with the functionality. One most important part I would like to share with you about key differentiators here is within a single architecture, we deliver attended and unattended mode both. So you can have an interactive automation where humans and bots work together in attended mode, or you can have an unattended mode, which is completely autonomous, where bots take over start to finish the project, the process cycle without any interruption. We also deliver drag and drop workflow designer. What it makes is it caters to several set of users, right? So simple bots can be built just by drag and drop. Complex bot can be built through technical bot developers through detailed scripting and rules and automation. So for that, we provide powerful script editor with a high robotic component reusability, that what you write can be reused among different scenarios and scripts, and you can debug it completely step by step, going through, okay, which applications I declared, what I want to automate, which screens I need to input the values with, etc. And also an interesting piece is we separate the application declaration from scenario description. What it means is if you capture a screen, it can be part of one scenario, two scenarios, or n number of scenarios. So you can reuse them and construct your bots. And we have on-premise as well as cloud component to monitor and execute on the processes that lets you say balance what you do on shop versus what you monitor from cloud. We deliver a complete framework in terms of functionality to design, configure, orchestrate, and run the bots, monitor them, how they are performing, and then debug it in case of any issues. So it's a complete solution in terms of functionality with a developer studio, what we call as desktop design studio, in a cloud factory, what we call as for monitoring component through cloud, and agent, what we call for runtime on premise, wherever you want to automate your processes. So that's about functionality. So let's look at the factor I mentioned on SAP compatibility. So what is SAP compatibility? Because through our customers and extensive ecosystem network that we have from SAP side, what we came to know is every process our say different set of customers automate, it touches upon SAP at some point. So is RPA only for SAP? No. But when you make our SAP work with many other non-SAP components and use our RPA in its true value, SAP Intelligent RPA provides you an unrivaled ability to drive SAP applications. So it delivers those technology connectors to ensure clean application drive, right? So we provide SAP UI5 connectors, for example. So whichever application types which use UI5 as a user interface, you can build bots with them easily. And it also provides connectors to SAP graphical user interface, or SAP GUI, for our critical SAP ECC customers, so that they can build their automation with SAP and non-SAP tools or Microsoft tools or any sort of third-party portals, internet portals, etc. So we provide you an environment for event-based capture, so that you can build your bots step by step on the expected behavior, and then you can edit it using our JavaScript code, which is highly reliable, and you can control your performance and speed of the solution based on how creative you are in terms of scripting and the user mode in which you use our solution for high performance and speed. So that really sets our solution unique, and it provides you all these functionalities on a low footprint on desktops and servers, because we have a hybrid infrastructure, not to forget, on-premise and cloud, to keep your overall total cost of ownership in check. So that's about SAP compatibility. So what about comprehensiveness, right? So how comprehensive we are. So we deliver a detailed monitoring dashboard included within the solution, so you can observe how bots are behaving, the logs, the time aggregations, how they did on a particular process execution last week, for example, or last month, or this time last year, so on and so forth. And then detailed execution logs, which processes run on which agents on which machine with what user credentials. And it's an extensible framework built on JavaScript, so which is a robust scripting language which lets you debug and work with it more easily. And most important thing is also the virtualization protocols that we deliver. So we are probably one of the best solutions when it comes to working with, say, something like Citrix environment, for example. So all these kind of virtualization protocols are delivered so that your bots or agents can be installed in Citrix environment, and these bots can run successfully. And we have a graphical designer for building your bots and debugging them locally or remotely for all kind of errors and change detection and diagnosis remotely if you want to see, okay, what went wrong, etc. And needless to mention, they all consume low memory footprint because of our unique architecture that's in place. So that's about comprehensiveness. So what are the other key differentiators? So that brings me to an important point on pre-built bots. So what are these pre-built bots? So SAP is not only an RPA company. We deliver, say, a lot of line of business applications which cater to multiple core functions as well as industries. So that sets us in a good position to deliver those bot templates to kickstart your adoption, right? So we deliver already pre-built the bot templates which you can readily import into the bot design studio, personalize it to your unique needs, and then you are ready to go. So we started this with our digital core, that is SAP S/4HANA. We delivered these bots as our best practice content, as best practice packages which you can easily import and use. For example, pre-built bots for, say, automating different finance processes, different procurement process, like how to create purchase order. So that can be built beforehand and ship it along with the solution so that you can easily use it. Same is true for, say, sales and distribution, or simply as a data management, like, say, all kind of activities to move the data around your organization, which otherwise is done by the users manually. So that's about pre-built bots, and we intend to increase this pre-built bots portfolio from time to time to cover entire stack of SAP offerings and applications. So what next? let's look at the security aspects, because our solution has on-premise and cloud component. It's a hybrid architecture, so security becomes even more important, which is a high touch point for RPA in general, because you instruct a bot here to work on your behalf to perform certain process tasks. So it's very important that these bots are highly secure and they do not produce any security disruptions. So we deliver secure repository for passwords, tokens, keys, or files with our credential store. So we have dedicated persona for managing different phases of your implementation or your adoption. We have a concept called as environment, so you can create your own development environment or test environment or production environment to keep everything segregated. So we have a secure credential store delivered as part of the solution for storing all kind of authentication modes and credentials, so that only the ones who are authorized to execute on a process are replicated through bots. And this credential store has different services for audit logs, for service instances, for different service keys, the access tokens and credentials, etc. And we are fully GDPR compliant for data privacy. So we have these password refresh tokens which are provided, and the runtime agents, where the action happens when bot is in action, it's at on-premise on the workstation of the user in attended mode, or at the virtual machines in case of unattended mode. So this all makes the solution very secure. Other key differentiator, the next point is the overall ability to enhance the user experience, right? So this is possibly one of the most important aspects of our solution, because this lets you introduce guidance to bots. That means if you use it in an attended mode, in an interactive automation example where, say, bots work with humans, you do as a human certain steps of the process and bots perform rest of the process. In this case, it's important that you have an effective way to interact with these bots. So we are pretty strong in this attended RPA aspect to introduce this guidance and simplifies the overall application journey, right? So what it means is you can introduce your own banners or buttons or interactive mechanism for the user to interact with the bot without making any changes on the underlying application that you're automating. Users can deal with the bots directly and then understand how they are performing, where they are stopping, etc. So it reduces the learning curve, it reduces required mastership, because everything is easily visible, and then it can establish a good communication channel with the human user and the bots. And you can keep control of the process, especially when there is a big long process where, say, approval step or waiting step, etc. are involved from the human side. You can work with these bots, with these buttons and banners, still achieve fast response time. So that's how it enhances the user experience overall and makes the RPA more usable in day-to-day lives of the users by not interfering in what they do. All this can happen in the background without interrupting those high-value tasks that users are currently focusing on, since they have RPA now. So that brings me to the next point, that is how do we price this? Most important, right? So because we have a very unique pricing model here, which I would like to emphasize upon. So our pricing model is completely consumption based. So basically you pay for what you use. You do not pay for what you develop or what you configure or what you distribute or collaborate. So you can deploy as many bots as you want. You can install as many design studios as you need. So you can put any number of bot developers to use our solution. You will pay only when you consume. So we have a pricing metric which is based on what we call as transactions, which is nothing but a bot execution. That means every time you run a bot, there is a price tag on it. And this price tag is same for attended and unattended bots. This is a good news because you can flexibly scale your automation in interactive or unattended mode with a single pricing model by paying same for attended and unattended. And also we have many other commercial say architecture in place or collaterals in place where you can consume our application more cost effectively. For example, you can leverage SAP Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, in short what we call a CPEA, which is like a master agreement to consume all different intelligent services that SAP offers. So if you are on it, you can consume a common cloud credit, for example, to have RPA plus chatbot scenario by bringing in SAP Intelligent RPA and SAP Conversational AI together. It also includes several set of other microservices that SAP Cloud Platform offers so that you can build bots in a comprehensive way. We also, of course, offer different services packages as well in order to handhold, adopt, and hypercare your journey to adopt, use, and monitor RPA implementation. So there is another important aspect, that is what we call as indirect access. So what is indirect access? So first of all, indirect access license for SAP's digital core. By digital core, I mean SAP S/4HANA as well as SAP ECC or ERP system is included with our SAP Intelligent RPA license. What it means? So when an API or third-party bot accesses our digital core, you are, as a customer, liable to ensure that you have right licenses in place for this kind of indirect access to use our digital core. So if you do the same activity using our own SAP Intelligent RPA solution that is whitelisted from this licensing requirement, and then you can fearlessly build these bots with the SAP Digital Core without paying in addition for that. So that makes us more viable and more consumable as well. On top of that, we have multi-tier subscription pricing for matching your volumes. So you can subscribe to lower volume if you expect, say, a low starting point for your RPA, and then you can subscribe more and more bot transactions as you grow, as you scale, and as you identify more and more use cases for industrialization of bots, what we call it, so that to use it in big scale to run multiple use cases across different lines of businesses of your company. So that makes us really unique. For example, a bot processing 100 steps for a process, you might end up paying the same price for it for a bot processing 1,000 steps, depending on how you design the bot, because all we measure is how many times a bot is run, not exactly what that bot does. So that really makes it more scalable, simple to size, because you know how is your workload today, and you just have to translate that into, say, how many times I create a purchase order, for example, that many times, say, I run a bot, or I create a cluster of hundreds of purchase orders to be created within a bot execution, then you pay only for one bot execution and create, say, these hundreds of purchase orders, for example. So this way, you don't need a runtime analysis to estimate what kind of licensing you need, how much I'm going to spend, etc. It makes it totally predictable what you are going to invest for RPA, and it makes it more, say, viable for large-scale RPA implementation. So that's about pricing, so how it sets us apart. Let's look at some more aspects in terms of future, right? So differentiation is not only in terms of what we have in hand today, also is largely on the roadmap itself, because as SAP takes this topic very serious, and it's a complementary topic with everything else what SAP does in terms of their core applications and industry offerings. So roadmap is a key aspect, because we we intend to do those large investments to bring end-to-end automation story into reality by bringing SAP conversational AI and SAP data intelligence together, for example, to build bots which can interact with the user as well as think and then take decisions for the users. And we also embed this application with our own application stack, because that's the advantage SAP has, because we also deliver most of those underlying applications that is typically used with RPA, for example SAP S/4HANA, or with success factors for building human resource bots. So we embed these RPA capabilities within the application stack. And then also the roadmap is strong to build something like a marketplace where we can leverage SAP ecosystem to build those niche specialty bots and socialize them among customer communities and partner communities, so that you have a bigger community to bank upon. And also the roadmap reflects on different contractual agreements and different capabilities, such as SAP Cloud Platform open connectors, so that you can bring a lot of third-party intelligence services to build your bots successfully with our platform. And last but not the least, we have SAP workflow integration coming up for making, say, API-based or system-based automation also a reality, along with user task automation of RPA. So that's about the roadmap. So in the next units, we will learn more about the roadmap. But now, so that you had an overview on key differentiators, are you all excited to see our solution in action? So my colleague Terry will show you an interactive demo to you now in the next unit. And I'll be back in Unit 7 to talk more on the roadmap, and see you soon.